Ahoy there and welcome to Pirates Parley.
Today we'll be looking at Journeys in Middle-earth by Fantasy Flight Games.
Come, step out onto the road with us.
Aye, there's no knowing where you might be swept off to.
First things first, you'll need the app.
I can't get a signal.
Without the app, this game does not function. So if you have no devices to accommodate this, you won't be able to play. This game takes you through many adventures in Middle-earth, and the app not only tracks in-game information, but it acts as a randomizer for setup as well as deciding damage and other in-game concepts. Are we ready?
Ready.
Get a big table. You're gonna need it. Fantasy Flight sells this extra large, beautiful playmat. It's not included and it really does nothing but establish a play area. However, we'll be using it today.
It's my precious.
Open the app and select New Game. Then it's time to pick a campaign. For your first game, the book recommends Bones of Arnor on normal difficulty, which is the only free one, so there you go. Pick your save slot and then select the members of your fellowship. For a solo game, the book advises you to pick 2 hardy companions. The app will pick their suggested starting items. We're sticking with those for now, but if you want to browse, just click those items, check out some options, and find the matching cards. You can do this now or remember them for later. Now, agree on a name for your party.
How about an unexpected parlay?
No, it needs something.
Say no more.
Agreeing on the name could be the hardest part for some, but it really doesn't affect anything. There's some flavorful background story here, if you want to get into the moment. But after that, take a quick look at where the journey begins, and then you'll need to pick out a role for each character. Page 4 of the Learn to Play book has a list of suggestions. Aragorn is a captain, Bilbo is a burglar, etc. After that, the app is ready to guide you through the area setup. You'll be letting the app do a lot of the thinking for you, so read and nod along unless it tells you to do something.
Yeah, the app is great. Now let's get some pieces on the board so this stops feeling like a video game. Give the players the hero boards that match the character they are controlling. Now separate all the ring-backed cards according to the keywords at the bottoms, like this. Basic, heroes, roles, weaknesses, and title skill cards. Most of them are numbered, and here's why that matters. Building starter player decks. Each player gets a 1 through 6 set of basic skill cards, a 1 through 5 set of the hero skill cards matching their character, and a 1 through 3 set of the role cards matching whichever one you picked for each. This will start your personal decks, but don't shuffle just yet.
The weakness cards are shuffled and 1 card is dealt to each player, placing the rest nearby to torment you again in the future. The base game weaknesses have no effect, so I suppose shuffling is optional, for now. They're mostly just there to clog up your deck, preventing you from getting better cards when you need them.
We hate them, precious!
Next, shuffle the damage and fear cards, and separate the boon cards into their 3 face-up stacks.
Onward to the tokens! These are multi-sided, so there's exploration and inspiration, search or threat, person. Well, these don't really matter which side is up. Then there's the enemy banners with their plastic stands. This is the equipment we need to get started. There's some other stuff that we'll keep aside for now, like the terrain tokens, various cards and battle map tiles. We've only got so much table space, so don't bring it in unless the app says to.
Get your player areas set up now. Place your hero board. And you'll need to dig out the cards matching the starting items that you selected in the app if you haven't already, and place those to the side. Now find the number 1 role skill card from your pile and place it below your board in the prepared area. Finally, shuffle your deck and place it above the board. And we're ready to head to Arnor? Which way is it? Left or right?
Left.
Well, then we're ready to talk to the app now.
Hit continue and any other buttons, then finish setting up the play area. The app will tell you where to start placing your tiles, which side up, and how to rotate and all that JRR. The fog will tell you which way it'll grow, so you can leave appropriate room.
You'll run into your first interactive keyword before you even start the game. If the app tells you to scout, it means to draw that many cards from the top of your deck, and, if you want, add 1 to the prepared area beneath your hero. Any remaining cards may be placed on top or bottom of your deck. in any way you wish. Keep pressing buttons, doing what it says until action phase appears.
On your action phase, each character may take 2 actions, in any order. And every turn you may, as a group, decide the turn order. The first action is travel. This game is on a timer due to an ever-increasing threat level, so you gotta keep those hairy feet moving. You may move up to 2 spaces, which are divided by the gray lines. If you wish to move 1 space, perform your second action, then resume traveling with your remaining step, you absolutely may.
Here's a few things though. Firstly, if you step onto a tile with an exploration token, you immediately explore it by clicking it in the app and let your device tell its story. Secondly, if you want to travel off of a space infested with monsters, you must provoke them before you can scoot. And that's each group of enemies. We'll show you that in a moment.
Second available action is attack. If you're on the same space, it's a melee. If you're adjacent, it's ranged. And you have to have the ranged icon. Choose a weapon from your items and prepare to perform your first test.
Tests are a big part of the game, so here we go. You'll see an icon and a number, usually. Check your hero's stats to see the number next to the matching icon and draw that many cards. Reshuffle empty decks if needed and check out what you got.
This one is a success. This one has none. And this one isn't a success yet. If you get a fate icon and wish to turn it into a success, spend 1 inspiration icon to change it into one. If the test has a number, then that's the number of successes that you need. Otherwise, 1 will do. But things occasionally change. The app holds many secrets.
Now, click on that enemy's icon at the bottom of the screen and input any damage. Yes, even if it's 0. In addition to an attack value, your weapon might add a modifier as well. In this case, click any keywords that may apply and unleash your attack.
Now for the bad tidings. The enemies will likely hit you back with a counterattack. The app will ask if they can attack. This mostly refers to position, so if they're on your space or next door with a ranged icon, you must be truthful and say, yep.
Let the app calculate the enemy's attack and look for the negate keyword. Negate is a test that may help you reduce the attack. Check your stat and draw your cards, changing any fate icons you wish with inspiration tokens. Then cancel any damage or fear and take any remaining effects.
Now for some good tidings. Many enemies will only be able to counterattack once. So if the icon goes dark, it's exhausted. You've worn it out. Which means if you wish to hit it again, or call over a chum to work on him also, it won't fight back. Until next time. If you receive a damage or a fear card, flip it face up, unless it tells you otherwise. Take its effect, and if it doesn't discard, keep it face up, unless it tells you otherwise.
This is often when you may receive boon cards. If it says to, draw one from the face-up piles and place it above your deck with the damage and fear cards. Always read your cards and remember what they do. You'll need every advantage you can get.
If your damage or fear threshold, or both, is matched or exceeded, you'll need to perform a last stand. Click this button, and your hero. Tell it which one you're performing, and then follow the instructions. It just means passing a test to see if you come back from the grave. And if you need to do both, you get to decide the order. Goody.
The third action is interact. This refers to search, person, or threat tokens. Use your action and click on that icon on the map. Let the app walk you through the process. It will change often.
Also, as with traveling, if you be on a space with some bad guys, you have to provoke them before you can interact. They require your full attention.
To provoke an enemy, click on the red button. Then on the enemies. Now you'll just need to survive their attack. Afterwards, you'll be free to do as you wish.
Once your enemies start filling up the board, you'll see colorful dots next to the enemy groups. Since many of them are similar in appearance, bring in a matching banner to keep them all sorted. Wouldn't want you getting all confused now, would we?
After each player has taken a turn in the action phase, hit the hourglass button to begin the shadow phase. The app will guide you through this, but generally it involves these steps. Enemy activation. Prepare to get attacked. If it gives you a move command with a number and a preferred hero, check to see if they can get in range of that hero first. If not, see if they can get to any hero. Otherwise, they do nothing. When it tells you to move an enemy closer to a priority, just move it that many spaces. Unless it catches the target, then it stops. It will also stop immediately if it crosses a stream. And you don't even have to chant an elvish spell.
Then comes the darkness step. If you find yourself on a space with this icon, the app will tell you how to suffer. Enjoy.
Now we'll move to the threat step. This is when the threat level rises, activating game events or ending the game completely. The level goes up, 2 points per hero on the board, 1 point per threat token, and 1 point per unexplored tile. So you can kind of make a plan to reduce this. Also, those exhausted enemies are no longer exhausted. Uh-oh, they're awake, and they're cranky.
The last bit is called the rally phase. In this step, you'll mostly be getting ready for the next wave. You'll likely be told to reset your deck, which means to reshuffle the discard into the remaining deck. You'll also be told to scout in the usual way. Your prepared area holds a maximum of 4 cards, so discard down if you need to. Be advised that Aragorn has an ability to scout more cards in the rally phase only, so keep reading those cards. They're important. His ability also affects nearby buddies. Just so you know, when the game says nearby, it means on your space or adjacent.
The phases will continue ever on and on until your group meets the winning condition or the threat level overtakes you.
Well, everyone being dead is bad also, I'd wager.
Yeah, that would also do it. When the campaign resolves, the app will guide you into the next one, even if you fail. There's a lot to explore here. These are merely the first steps on the path. And it's a dangerous business, so try and keep your feet.
Well, time for the journey home. So much walking.
This game is fully dependent on the app. Some may just not like this idea in general, while others have the practical outlook that apps don't live forever. It's unknown whether Fantasy Flight has a plan to replace it with some card or dice-based randomizer in the future, so we'll just have to wait and see. But I say, play the games you want today, and if the game is calling to you, just enjoy it while you can. It will likely be playable for many more years.
Though this game takes place in Tolkien's world, what with all the orcs and elves you'd expect, the connection to the stories that we're accustomed to is actually very light. There's no reason this game couldn't have just been generic fantasy. However, if you're into the theme, it will feel very familiar, and that's what's important. And since it's Fantasy Flight, I think it's safe to expect expansions aplenty. Well, I hope so. Questing to various locations in Middle-earth is what everyone wants.
You have my bow.
Thanks. Now, we've only done a few scenarios, but the locations are constantly changing. So who knows what adventures to expect? You might take your dwarf to...
Moria?
Maybe. You might even take your ranger to...
Lothlorien.
Who knows? You might even take your hobbit to...
Isengard?
To Isengard.
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard!
Oh, we shouldn't hang out together anymore.
Melon.
The components are the quality you would expect. Very nice in almost all respects.
What?
But for those of us bespectacled gamers of limited vision, the microscopic text on the cards is painful to squint at. You could have made them a tad larger for us.
Well, the minis are great, but there aren't a lot of them to start with. And in the first few scenarios, we ended up using all but 2 of them. So that tells me that there are no surprise characters, or big boss battles beyond what you see, and how the scenarios modify them. You can change the stats, but that's still the same orc I fought the first time according to my eyes.
The redistribution of the tiles and the changing identity of the tokens really keeps the game fresh. Some feel that it's far too repetitive. However, it's something that I've enjoyed about it so far. So ultimately, that will be a matter of personal taste.
I don't mind saying that this game has lived on the table for quite a while now.
It borders on obsession.
Aye, it really works for me.
It really does.
Well, thanks for hearing us out on this Pirates Parley. Here's hoping that any of you ringers with a mind to get a chance at trying it out.
And a special shout out to our patrons who made this review possible. We truly could not have made this one happen without you.
And to all who've stopped in today, may your table be home to lucky rolls and second breakfasts. Fare thee well, and thanks for your fellowship.
So what do you think? Is Journeys in Middle-earth a worthy entry in the library of Tolkien-based games?
Does it stand on its own without the theme?
And how much of a deal breaker is the app?
Oh, and don't forget the paid DLC.
I think that's called expansion.
Only if you can hold it in your hand.
Digital content is a thing.
Ooh, I guess I better sleeve my phone then.
All right, well, you've heard us out.
What say you?